Ninjago has been running for 9 seasons, and one thing it has always had is intros. And with 9 seasons, we were wondering which ones are the best. Hey guys, Hfmasters here, and today we are going to be ranking the Ninjago intros. Before we begin, I would like to say we will only be looking at the 9 seasons intros. This means that intros from Wu's Tea and Decoded will be excluded. I would also like to mention that seasons with multiple intros will not have a different spot, as they are basically the same with very small differences. Lastly, we will be combining both seasons 1 and 2 for a spot, as they are the same intros with the exception of season 2 adding Lloyd. But with that out of the way, let's begin the list. At our bottom spot, we have the season 8 intro. Now I must give credit where credit is due, as this intro breaks away from the typical style of intro that all the previous seasons had used. However, while the change isn't bad, there is one major problem. The intro doesn't introduce you to any of the characters, but instead just shows off Ninjago City, and shows off the shadow of Lloyd and Samurai X. Whether or not that's a good change really comes down to personal taste, and I'm curious to see how many of you actually really like this intro. Overall, it's a creative intro and different from the rest, but it just doesn't work for me. Next on our list, we have the rebooted intro. Now again, I will give credit where credit is due, as this intro is the first to not only remix the music, but is the first to showcase the villains as well, which is something I think that all the intros should do. Now let's get into what I don't like. First off, I don't like how they don't show the characters' names side by side with the character. This is done with the ninja besides Lloyd, along with Wu and Garmadon. I'm also not a fan of the remix. It basically just cuts off the song and goes to some weird robotic noise. I guess it sort of fits the futuristic theme, but I don't like it at all. Overall though, I will say the intro is okay and definitely a major improvement when compared to the Season 8 intro. Moving on, I must say it got a lot harder to pick between the intros, but at our number 6 spot we have the Tournament of Elements intro. The music is much better, as it remixes much better than Rebooted. I also do like the showcase of each of the ninjas' elemental powers. Of course, the intro is not perfect. I'm not a fan of Wu and Garmadon being grouped together. Now it wouldn't be a problem, but you can't tell them apart, as they are just standing on the Garmadon part of the statue. So it doesn't tell a new fan who is which. Also, some may not like Zane not being there, however I think it is appropriate for the season. Overall, a pretty good intro and a step up from the last. As you know, I said earlier that Season 1 and 2 would share a spot, and that I would lump the different versions together. However, I would like to specifically mention that I will be talking about the Season 2 version 2, as that, in my opinion, is the best out of all the 4 different versions. Overall, the intro is pretty good. It showcases the ninja's powers, along with putting names by each character. Of course, this intro could have been better by showing off a villain like Garmadon for Season 2, or Pythor for Season 1. But hey, they were keeping it simple at that time, and I can't blame them. Overall, it's a pretty good intro, and definitely still holds up today. The Hands of Time intro is a really unique intro. I do like how the intro focuses on just one big picture and zooms in on each of the characters. I also do like this remix, and I think it is much better done than the rebooted one, and it fits with the music much better. Lastly, I'd like to mention that I do appreciate the inclusion of the Time Twins. However, I would have preferred to have seen their faces instead of just the back of them. Overall though, I like this intro quite a bit. Moving into our top 3, we have the Skybound intro. The intro again remixes the music and does get that pirate movie music feel in there, at least that's the best way I can describe it. I'm also fine with the ninja being grouped together as long as you can easily tell who is who, unlike in the Tournament of Elements intro. It was kind of a hit or miss with that, as Jay and Nia are easily distinguishable, however Wu and Misako are not, and Cole and Zane could be argued either way. I also do appreciate them having the ninja flying with either airjitsu, a dragon, or them just using their elemental powers, which is quite nice and does harken back to the first intro when they used Spinjitzu. Also, a neat little thing is it goes in the order of who got captured first by Nauticon, which while I'm not sure is intentional, is a nice touch. Lastly, I do appreciate the inclusion of Nauticon in the intro. Overall, a pretty good intro, but not perfect. At number 2, we have the Possession intro. This intro does a lot of things right. It switches up the music. I also quite appreciate the different style drawing of each character in the intro, which really freshens things up. I also like the hinting of events such as Lloyd being possessed, as we see him very confused in the intro. They also sort of hint at the ninjas losing their power, with Jay barely being able to use his lightning power. However, I'm not sure if this was intentional or if Jay just wasn't using much of his power. Either way though, it works out. Of course, the season still keeps at a similar format with introducing characters one at a time, like most of the other previous intros. However, even with that, they do a great job making it feel unique and fresh, but there's still one intro left that we think is even better than this one. At the top of our list, we have the Hunted intro. Now this intro, like Season 8, is very different, however, this intro is very well done. Not only does it show off the ninja, but it also shows off all the villains, which is something no intro has done before. Not to mention that this season has the most villains, with the Sons of Garmadon, Dragon Hunters, and of course, Garmadon. The music is also changed up and is quite dramatic, which I quite enjoy. Of course, this intro is not flawless, as I would like the intro to show the names of the ninja, as it helps a new watcher learn the names of each character faster. However, even with that flaw, it still takes our number 1 spot. And with that, that wraps up today's video. Please feel free to comment your list in the comment section below, and until next time, this is Hfmasters saying goodbye.